Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nikki, known here as the One-Handed Bandit, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I will be doing a full day wear test of the Pat McGrath, her new concealer, and I picked up the shade M21, as well as the under eye brightening powder. I picked up the shade medium, and I will be wearing the products as I have them here on my face. I am using a full face of mostly Pat McGrath products, and I'm just going to give you my thoughts and my opinions on the concealer and the under eye brightening powder. I know she came out with 3 of them, but I thought that this one would be the best option for me because the other one was light, which was a white powder, and then the third one was a deep one, which was probably pretty deep for under eye powder. For me, it probably would have worked as an all over setting powder, but for the under eye brightening, I thought that this one in the shade medium looks best for me. I know on camera it looks pretty stark white. Let's see. So it has sort of a tan nude hue to it, and it's sort of like it looks like a baked powder, and it came in the typical Pat McGrath packaging, the plastic with all the sequins in it, but the concealer came in the box the same as the foundation, so same cohesive packaging for the foundation and concealer. So if you would like to see how I came through with this look and my final opinion, I will be checking in every few hours to let you know how the concealer and the setting under eye setting powder is working for me. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel if you like what you see here. Click that subscribe button, and also click that notification bell so that you can be notified every single time that I upload. Thank you so much for watching, and on to the video. Hello and welcome back. So as you can tell from the title of this video, I will be reviewing the Pat McGrath concealer as well as the under eye powder. Now I did purchase the Pat McGrath foundation, but I never did a review on it. That was when, you know, I was on a hiatus from YouTube. So I'm going to also use the foundation in my video, and I'm also going to do a wear test. I'm not sure if it's going to be a full day wear test, but it will be quite a few hours that I will be wearing the foundation, the concealer, as well as the setting powder. So I did go ahead and do my brows off camera. I just did a updated brow routine video, and that is also linked in the description of all of my videos. I also primed my face. I did go ahead and moisturize with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and I also used my Tasha Silk Canvas primer as well. So as we all know, the foundation does come in this packaging. I did keep the packaging just because it looks very luxe and very pretty. So this is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation. It retails for $68. I am in the shade Medium Deep 24. And the foundation looks like this. It looks like a very expensive perfume bottle. So as you can see, I have used it a few times. I do save this foundation for when I'm going out and I'm not wearing very much makeup. I don't do a full glam with this foundation. It is a medium buildable coverage foundation versus the concealer, which is a full coverage concealer. Now, I like this foundation. I know a lot of people said that they didn't like it because they had textured skin, they had bad acne and breakouts. So someone like myself who doesn't have that many skin problems, I do get a few breakouts every now and then, but nothing much, nothing major. So personally, I like the foundation. I don't add too much of it, and that's how I like it. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply the foundation. And what I like to do is I take a brush like this and I pump it onto the brush and then apply to my face. Don't have any breakouts right now, so this should be a very good wear test. I swatched the concealer yesterday when I picked it up, and I actually love it. It is full coverage, so I can't wait to apply it on my face. So I'm just going to blend out that concealer that I have on my lid. This concealer that I have on the lid is not the Pat McGrath foundation. I mean, the Pat McGrath concealer. This is the Juvia's Place concealer. Their concealer is huge, so I like the way that it looks under my brows. So that's the concealer that I use today. So now that I have some of the foundation on my face, I am going to blend it out. This is a BH Cosmetics foundation brush. It is very dense, so it's very good for packing on products. I'm just going to blend that out. Pat McGrath also came out with some brushes as well, but I have not picked them up. I heard that they are very small brushes, and for $32 I want a much larger brush, and I'm quite sure I will probably have a more inexpensive dupe for the brush. My lighting may be a little off, but I do see that the foundation is looking very red and orange for me, but the final outcome doesn't look like that. So as you can see, I don't add the foundation underneath my eye because I have very dry eyes, and the area underneath my eyes is very dry. So I try to use as less product under my eye as possible. So I'll only be putting the concealer and the setting powder under there. And making sure that I blend that all the way down. Now I could go in with another layer of foundation because you can see some of my moles underneath, but I don't mind that. I like for my moles to show. So I also have the Pat McGrath setting powder, the loose setting powder as well. Now I previously thought that I would need the shade Medium Deep 3, but I did see it in store and it is very red, and for a setting powder I think it would be good for setting all over the face, but not as a under eye setting powder. So this is the packaging for this setting powder. This is not the one that was released yesterday. The one that was released yesterday was a pressed powder. So this is the one that came out with her foundation, and I picked up the shade Light Medium 2. And the packaging is very similar to the foundation. I like that everything is cohesive. It is a nice collection. Everything is matching. And this is what the packaging looks like. And it looks like a very not too yellow, but it looks like a regular normal banana setting powder. And I'm just going to use this to set the concealer on my eyelids, just because it keeps creasing and I don't want it to be looking crazy. So I'm just going to blend it out again. And because I have hooded lids, that's why the concealer keeps creasing, because I haven't set it yet. I'm just going to take a small brush and just set my under eye. Don't pick up very much, just about that much of powder. Kind of messed up my brows a little bit, but I'll go back in and fix it. So this is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer. And this is the packaging that it came in. I picked up the shade M21. And the same cohesive packaging as the rest of the collection. And this concealer is 5 milliliters and 0.16 fluid ounces. And for instance, my Cover FX Power Play concealer is 10 milliliters and 0.33 fluid ounces. So you do get more product with the Pat McGrath concealer. It is $30. Is it $30? I think it's $32. And this is what the product looks like. And it has this small doe foot applicator. So I'm just going to go in and apply the product directly on my under eye. Well, it isn't bright and golden as I would want. I know it looks golden on camera, but here in person in my mirror, it looks a little red. And from the description, this is supposed to be a olive neutral undertone. So I'm just spreading it out. And I like to let my concealer sit for a few moments before I blend it out to get the most coverage, because I have really dark under eyes and I have wrinkles. So I'm just going to let it sit for just a few, not too much. And I don't know what is going on up here. I'm just going to go ahead and blend out that concealer. It blends out very nicely. So with the release of the concealer, Pat McGrath also released a blurring under eye powder. She came out with 3 of them. One was light, medium, and deep. The light one was white. The medium was the one that I picked out, and the deep one was a very deep reddish toned one. So I picked up the medium. It did come in this standard Pat McGrath packaging with the plastic with the sequins. Now I was kind of surprised at how small it is. I mean, I have small hands and it fits perfectly into the palm of my hand. So for review purposes, is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. I went ahead and opened it off camera because I have all these sequences on the floor. And so this is the packaging. And on the back it says medium. And let's open her up. It does come with a small mirror right there. And this is what it looks like. It's a very nude tone powder. So I'm just going to take my brush, my little small powder brush, and I am going to just go right into the product and set. So now that my under eye is all set, I'm going to finish up the rest of my face, and then I will come back. And just for review purposes, we're going to check. It is currently 9 a.m. So I will come back in a few hours and check in with you just so that you can see how the concealer and the under eye setting powder is setting up. And I'll be back with my full face to show you how everything looks all together. So now that I have completed the rest of my face, and I will leave the products that I use down in the description box, but it's currently 9:42 a.m. So I will be wearing this concealer and under eye brightening powder on my face for I don't know, probably the rest of the day. And I'll come back in a few hours just to check with you. Normally I do get some creasing because I have some fine lines and wrinkles under my eye. So normally I do get a little creasing, and throughout the day I do dab with one of my those little sponges that you get with your powder products. So I have a Laura Mercier one, I have one from the Crayon Case, and I think a Lancome one. And throughout the day I do dab underneath my eye just to blend out the concealer, and you know, just to prevent the creasing. But if you're interested in what I use today to complete the rest of my face, I'll include the products down in my description box. But for reference, I did set my foundation with my Makeup Forever matte powder. I use this shade 415. And I did go over my face with my Sephora Micro Smooth powder. And I love Sephora brand products, and I do wish that they get more hype than what they get. But for blush and highlight, I use this little trio. I use this for blush, and I use this one here for highlight. It is called the Trio Face Palette by Sephora, and it looks like this. So that's all I use. And then for my lip, I use the Pat McGrath lip gloss in this shade Flesh 4. I'll come back in a few hours, let you know my thoughts on this concealer. I can tell you, after having this on for about an hour now, so far I like it. Normally the rest of my concealers would be creasing, and I would have to, you know, blend it out a little bit more and then go in with another layer of product and then set with my setting powder, with my setting spray. again, but I don't have to do it with this. And as you can see, it's the full Pat McGrath foundation, concealer, brightening powder, loose setting powder, and one of her lip products. So I'll be back. Hello everyone and welcome back. So I'm just checking back in with you. This is my final check-in with you for today, and it is currently 3:47 p.m. and I didn't get much done today because it is very raining and gloomy today in Las Vegas, and you know, for Las Vegas that's not very typical for a day in Las Vegas. It's the desert and it's always hot and sunny. So with this weather, I have been completely lazy, and as you can see, I am still in the same robe from this morning. So I've just been, you know, doing some things around the house. I made lunch, and right now I decided to turn on the camera and check it back in with you all. So as you can see, I am a little bit shiny. I typically have dry skin, and my oils producing through foundation is pretty typical. So I have not done any touch-ups. So I'm just going to use my Laura Mercier. This is the mini puff. So I'm just going to lightly dab. And this is what I typically do throughout the day with any foundation that I have on. I keep one of these in my purse, and as you can see, with just dabbing it, I didn't use any product. It's just the puff by itself. So I just dab it just to blot off any excess oils. And the concealer has been holding up pretty well. No creasing. And that's it. This is what I would typically do with any foundation that I use. I just blot with my puff that I keep in my purse, and I'm good for the remainder of my day. So as far as the Pat McGrath concealer, I pretty much like it. I love that it is thick, it is full coverage. You only need very little of the product. You don't need to add a lot on. As far as the under eye brightening powder, I'm honestly, I'm on the fence about it, because I was going to get the white one, which is, if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be translucent. But the deeper one, I don't think it would be a good under eye brightening powder for someone of my skin tone. It could be good for all over, and I'm not sure if I want to use that for all over, because it is a blurring powder, and it says under eye brightening, so I don't think I would use that all over my face. But that is my final review of the Pat McGrath Fetish Sublime concealer, as well as the under eye brightening powder. I hope that you have enjoyed. The likes really help me so much, and I do appreciate all the support that I get from each and every one of you. And I appreciate you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.